Watchers watching watches, welcome back to another video. I'm so excited today. We're still in early January, so I hope you guys enjoyed your holidays. Happy New Year to everyone listening. And today I had a really cool idea. This YouTube channel went from a small little, something I might show my kids one day to, obviously so many people watching. And so thank you to the first 100 subscribers. Thank you to the first 1,000 that now I'm hoping I will reach one day. And, I thought it would be really cool to make a 100 subscriber video of where my journey is right now. And then again at 1,000 to obviously see where it's progressed. So I have this kind of set up in order. For those of you that care, I was just going to go ahead and show you guys, which watches led me to where I am today. Because this is the one that started it all. I mean, I was pretty young and I never really wore watches, but something about this, black and stealthy look, I really enjoyed. And back then it was on a different strap. I remember this had a blue band over it, or one of these were blue, whatever you call this thing. But I wore it, for fancy occasions, for any occasion that, us and the family were getting dressed up to go anywhere. And eventually, when I got a little older, still probably 14, 15, somewhere around that age, they got me this thing. And, this thing was massive, and I didn't really wear it much, but it was nice, and it is a nice watch. It is the Precisionist, and if you know the Precisionist, that second hand moves almost, to the naked eye, it's pretty much identical to a Grand Seiko spring drive, but if you know, you know. And so I had that one for a while, and then back then she was still my girlfriend. So my girlfriend got me this, and I really, really like this one. Not only because she got it, yeah, she did put a little engraving on the back here, as you can see there. But this was basically the black watch, but, a little more, I guess, showy. And I didn't really like watches that, show. I like a stealthy look, so I didn't really like it at first. But over time, I grew into it. And as you can see with the next couple watches, I really grew fond of it. So I was in Florida on vacation, and I found this stand. It was Blue Iguana Sustainable, I think is the online company, but it was like a farmer's market. They had a ton of wood watches, of course, which both of these were part of, and it was actually in like a clearance or a sale section. And again, I still wasn't huge into watches. I think I had forgotten this at home, so I wanted something to throw on my wrist, and I found these, and obviously this is perfect, And my fiance really enjoyed them too, and we obviously picked these two out, and that was my collection right there on top. And that's what it was literally just about 2 years ago. So everything else is, it had happened very quick. In fact, this watch was an Alpina that I saw in Florida at it was a Citizen store. And obviously this one was locked away in like their nicer section with the Frederic Constant, and I think there was another brand they had. But anyway, this one caught my eye, and as you can tell with where I started, this was kind of like a luxurious, stealthy still, and, a very nice watch. I mean, I think, made a video on this watch. You can go ahead and check it out. Alpina has done a lot of great things in the watch industry. I mean, they're not huge, but they still make solid watches. I mean, I have my complaints. Like, the bezel feel on this is nothing to be impressed about, but nevertheless, it definitely, it was a very nice watch at time. It definitely, I guess, satisfied me for a bit, but it was so dull. My habit was going for watches, and something about this was just too dull. And I do still enjoy it from time to time. It depends on whatever outfit. I obviously, if you're a watch geek like me, we all match our outfits to the watch. But yeah, I mean, from then, it was for Christmas that this was gifted to me. This one, again, it wasn't my... I hadn't picked this out, but I remember mentioning that I liked the look of this in the store, and they ended up gifting me this, the people that I was with. So this is a really cool watch. I have I think a short on this watch as well. It's a really nice watch. It's 40 millimeters, slightly small for my wrist, but it fits nicely. I mean, this is as small as I would probably go on my wrist. And my left wrist is slightly bigger, by the way, so. And right now it's just this Apple Watch, which I only wear to the gym. I think an Apple Watch obviously has a place in your life, and it's when you're at the gym. So this was my Bulova. I guess this was my second Bulova, because I totally forgot that I actually had this from when I was a kid. But from that point is when I decided, it's time for my first stainless steel watch, something that pops, something that, looks nice. And this is how we got to the Seiko right here. Very nice dial. And the lume, always, I mean, this watch cost me less than $200 on Joma Shop. And the lume on it is incredible. I mean, honestly, it's slightly better than the Grand Seiko. I don't know if it's brighter, they just put a really good amount on there or what, but I'm telling you guys, it works really good. I mean, the Grand Seiko is good too, but it's a lot more, I would have to show you guys this at night. I mean, both of them, I believe I have shorts where you can check out at night and compare yourself. But with all that said, I really enjoyed this watch. It has a lot going for it. It was it's an automatic watch, and it's the one I proposed with, so this one has a special place in the memory bank. And, after that, it was an impulse buy, I believe. I ended up getting this Grand Seiko at a mall. And it's funny because I remember using a negotiation tactic of, I'm going to be going to Japan, and I wasn't going to be going to Japan. It was a complete lie back then, but I told them, I'm going to be going to Japan, and, it's a lot cheaper there, so I'm not looking to buy it today. I just wanted to check it out. And, of course, I ended up buying the watch. I got a decent discount. I got a free strap, but a leather strap. But still, at the time, like January 2025, the dollar was really strong in Japan. I think you would save like $1,500 or maybe up to $2,000 on this watch. But I ended up purchasing this here in America. And, obviously my first like real luxurious piece, the Alpina, was, it's around $1,000, just under $1,000. This watch is a lot nicer and a lot more expensive. It's still under 10,000. It's not like the Rolexes and the Omegas, although Omega kind of starts a lot lower. But there's nothing this watch doesn't do for me except one thing. Now that I think about it, it's the quick adjust on the clasp. But other than that, because you do need a pin tool to actually adjust this. But besides that, I have zero complaints whatsoever about this watch. Absolutely perfect. Gorgeous dial. Gorgeous everything all around. The polishing. There's nothing I can complain about this. And so, to this day, I do not regret buying this watch. I do have a slight regret for this watch because it was very expensive and it didn't fit. It didn't fully satisfy, the craving. But that's why if you are going to purchase, make sure you actually want the watch. And that's not to say I hate the watch. It's just, for the time, it was definitely an impulse purchase. Whereas this one, it was an impulse purchase, but I regret nothing about it. So next up, I'm at the store. I'm negotiating, lying to them that I'm going to Japan. A few weeks later, I'm with the family. We end up talking, and we actually end up going to Japan. So it was crazy, but anyway, obviously I wore this all over. I went, it was amazing experience. Went to Ginza, did the whole thing, and then ended up buying this one as, my Japan watch, and this isn't actually a Japan exclusive, and it was my first open heart. You know, as you can see, I don't have anything of the sort. It was still blue dial, similar to this one here, but honestly, I think I paid $120 for this. The way that the strap is, you know, similar, the link design, I really like that. It was similar to the Grand Seiko. Not as elegant, you know, the bracelet's a lot fatter, but all in all, I loved it. I bought it. It was about $120, discounts, everything. And, you know, this is my Japan trip. So from lying about it to actually being in Japan and getting this exclusive, this span was a really cool part of my life. And, you know, that's the cool thing about watches, where you can actually look back and see. I haven't really put them in order like this before, but it's really, really interesting to do. And if you guys haven't yourself, maybe you should, because it's definitely bring back a lot of memories. Next, I had this Seiko. As you can tell, I definitely started having a liking for, you know, Japanese watches. But this Seiko, I do have a longer video on. There's a specific exact reason I have this one. This is my driving watch. I love this watch. I mean, I've probably worn this more than any other watch because I love driving and I'm always taking that thing out. But, you know, that's a watch that, for the money, I mean, this was around, I got it for a deal, of course. I almost get every watch on a deal. But this watch, it was under, it was actually from Macy's. I think I paid less, like around $300, definitely under $400, but it's around $525 retail. So if you can get this on a good deal, these couture lines, they're pretty underrated. I think the design on this is really cool. It's, you know, it's not a watch you really see around often either, but it's nevertheless. Moving on to this Aqua Racer. This is definitely, again, one of my favorite. And the reason the Grand Seiko got some, the reason I talked some smack about the quick adjust is because of this watch. I mean, look at that. It's, if only every watch could have this. And I have made shorts, I mean, and I think a long form on this watch. If I haven't, I definitely should, because, I mean, this is an amazing watch. The accuracy is great. You got 80-hour power reserve. It's not a genuine, it's not an in-house movement by tag. But, again, I mean, if you care about those things, then obviously it may not be the watch for you. But this dial is the most beautiful dial. But besides the Grand Seiko, this and the Grand Seiko, you know, I've talked about it again in other videos, but I really think they have such stunning dials, the both of them. And this one really needs some sunlight to shine. But this Tag Heuer, it's 42 millimeter, you know, GMT, it's collar style, but 300 meter water resistance. I mean, I can't complain. Again, beautiful watch. The quick adjust is my favorite thing in the world. And actually, these were a gift. This one I had picked out, but it was a gift for from someone. And same with this one. So this Longines I had picked out, but it was gifted to me. And again, I haven't worn it much, but this is obviously for those occasions. If I need white with a dress shirt or a suit and tie. It's a very nice dress watch. Open case back. Beautiful design. Not a fan of butterfly clasp, but you throw it on once and forget, so it's never a big deal. And other than that, that's basically my entire collection. This one was gifted to me. I said I didn't want it. They knew I'm a watch guy. They just gave it anyway. But it's pretty nice. You know, we know Boss isn't making, you know, amazing watches, but it works, you know, it gets the job done, and honestly, it has a time and a place. And so this one I found on, I think, Marketplace or OfferUp or something. So it wrote like stainless watch or something. I bought it. I cleaned it up. This was just to kind of mess around. I took, it's automatic, but I took the movement out. I cleaned the inside as much as I can, polished around the links. Did the best I can. This was in really rough shape, so I did a pretty good job bringing it back to life. And what's crazy about this watch is it's held almost perfect time for like a year now. And I was looking for my phone to open up like time.gov to show you guys, but it's honestly incredible. I put in a new battery, cleaned this up a bit, put it back together, and it's held perfect time. Like, it makes no sense to me that I have these new quartz watches that have been made in the last few years, and this thing that is like 20 years old at least has been keeping perfect time. So this doesn't even fit my wrist open, by the way. I think it's a 38.6 millimeter. It's fairly small. Well, if this one's a 40, you can go ahead and guess what that one is. But there you go, guys. That's my collection. I hope you guys enjoyed. I hope I will actually hit 1,000 subscribers one day. I will make this video again. I do have a second row to fill here, so hopefully, hopefully. All right, had some technical difficulty, but like I was saying, or like I believe I was saying, these last 5 rows still need to be filled. So thank you guys so much for watching, and I hope you guys have an awesome year, and I'll see you guys at 1,000 subscribers.